Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off. If you had to guess, it has to be a massive number, but I'm curious what you think. If you had to guess how many households, married or otherwise, have porn, it's going to be living on their phone, I'm sure, but either on their phone or their computer or maybe a tape, something they recorded back in the day. What percentage? Let's just stick with Americans. What percentage of Americans would you guess? I don't have an answer for this. I'm just curious what you think. Have porn that they made together.
Soon? Like have made porn.
Yeah, made a sex tape, if you will.
We're talking full on, not just a picture or some shit. We're talking full on.
Let's not count sexting. Let's count full on. Yeah, X-rated.
Okay. This looks like amateur porn, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question. I bet 10% at least.
Oh, you think that?
Maybe
I think that's low. way low. Yeah.
There's a lot of conservative motherfuckers
I could be
out
wrong.
there, Ron.
Yeah, you're right.
There's also a lot of people that don't embrace technology like that yet.
Yeah.
I think if you were to do a under 30, or under 25 even, probably a lot more.
I would say most. But you got me doubting me. You got me doubting me.
You got me down.
Let's ask those. Let's not tell them the answers we gave. Let's ask these guys what they think. See if they sway closer to you or me. There's no winning. There's no losing, and there's no answer. I bet someone's done a poll on this. There'd probably be something to be done scientifically. Lyle, you there? Curious what you think. A percentage of Americans have either on their phone, on their computer, or on a tape somewhere under the bed, porn that they have made themselves? What percentage?
I to be honest with you, I think it's a lot lower than most people would think. I would say probably 30%.
Okay. That was lower than what I thought, but higher than what Chris thought. Well, he thought at least.
There's other porn, available everywhere. You know what I mean? There's every genre you could ever think of available.
Yeah, but
to do it yourself, there's a little kink. There's a little kink to it, but I've thrown more porn away than I've actually of myself made. Then
what?
Yeah.
You got a fucking collection?
Shoveled it out?
Sorted Dewey Decimal System? Do you have a fucking catalog I can peruse?
Well, no.
Wait, what do you mean you've thrown out more?
You during the move, ex-girlfriends that sent me CDs of them, doing stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, wow. we were kind of eliminating that. We're talking hardcore, you got video of a girl sucking your dick, or you guys were fucking, or something definitely porn.
It's still on that raid. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Total side note, unrelated. Remind me to dumpster dive at Lyle's more often.
Yeah. Why didn't you have a fucking yard sale, Brad? You gave away. You got rid of tons of good shit. Job. Oh, say it again.
I said my old house used to be right behind a porn shop, so you'd have struck gold, baby. Gold.
You just threw out porn, huh?
Well, I'm sure the porn place did too.
I think I've thrown out porn, I guess. Once the internet was a thing. I used to have some tapes. I might still somewhere. I bet I have. You know what I probably held on to was the old shit, like the Skinamax stuff. All the old Bavarian stuff that was very educational to a young ronster. And to this day, I have a rule. Anytime I see a girl in a dirndl on Tinder or Bumble or anywhere else, I don't care how attracted or unattracted I am, sometimes repulsed and repelled by them for one reason or another, not just appearances, by the way. I have to swipe right on anyone in a dirndl. It's not really worked out. But it's just a little thing I do because of my past. Go ahead, Lyle.
There's one porn I think I have, VHS wise, that bought a long time ago, that I actually still have because I remember seeing it in the move. I just threw it in the box.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. I mean, literally one VHS.
I believe the last porn, I think we talked about this at one point. The last porn I bought was a DVD featuring Chasey Lane. Is that her name?
Oh yeah.
I remember her.
And that was like a,
Bloodhound
what,
Gang
like
had
a
that song about her.
90s.
Oh, I used to have a crush on her. She was so
Oh,
hot.
that makes sense. Yeah. I thought she was cute. I didn't know anything about her. We
She
were
had
in Fantasy
piercing.
Unlimited in Seattle.
Yeah, she had piercing fucking blue eyes and just like a awesome body.
I'm having a hard time picturing her, but I
Well,
found her attractive.
I think in the late it might have been early 2000s. I actually looked her up just because I was curious because I was like, oh man, she was hot. Let's find out what she looks like today. And oh, it was bad, dude.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I was like, she should be at a truck stop.
Jesus.
Like, yeah,
Listen, life happens to us all. It ain't the years, it's the living. Well, and it's the genetics.
Well, it's during the whole porn. It was because it was a porn. I was like, oh damn, she's looking good. But I'm like, yeah, she's looking kind of rough. But like when she was doing deeds, like dirty deeds, she'd be like looking at the camera and get all, like kind of give it a smirk, like an evil eye, and then continue doing what she's doing. It's like, oh yeah,
that's what Lyle tried to time it to.
That's a lady on drugs.
Oh, a lady on drugs. Well, yeah, that wasn't terribly uncommon in the porn industry then, and I'm sure it's not in the porn industry now. Kooky biz, but. Well, John Mark hasn't answered yet, but we should get moving on. Before we get into some news and some things I wanted to talk about, I have to give a shout out to Michael, who recently bought a painting from me off Facebook. That's how I sell most of my paintings. Now, Michael and I have known each other for a while, not well, but he came into the radar station once. He knew Rhea. They knew each other through school. But you may remember my little arcade machine, not the big crack man, but the little bar top one.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he's the one that gave me that. Still sits on my bar today. He's become quite a big part of my life. Sarah's kids fucking love that thing. They play it way more than anyone else. But he gave me that, and that was the last time I saw him until he bought that. I knew we were Facebook pals, but he bought that painting just a few days ago, and then he said, hey, I can come pick that up on Monday. And he's like, my schedule's pretty open because, I own my own automotive AC repair business. And I'm like, really? as somebody whose AC has been dead for over a year, and we are on, I think it's got to be our 7th or 8th 100 degree plus day this summer. And if you look in the forecast, it's almost nothing but 100 degrees. We're going to have like 100 degree plus days this summer by the end of it. And as you may know, if it's 105 outside, it's 125 inside a car. I don't care how fast you're going and how much you flushed out your windows. You might drop the temperature a few degrees, but it's brutal. So I have been struggling. And so I just mentioned it. It's like, oh, maybe we can talk about what could possibly be wrong with my car. So he shows up to pick up his painting, and he pulls out all his fucking tools and diagnostics. Starts hooking shit up, hooking up hoses, testing things. He's like, well, I'm going to replace these 2 valves. So while we're just shooting the shit, he's doing all this stuff and gets, I don't know, maybe an hour into it. And then finally found out that the compressor is shot. So all that other stuff, which needed to happen, didn't fix it. But, and I wasn't going to pay to have a compressor put in because that's usually well over $1,000. Got to tear a lot of shit apart and then get the part and then pay for the labor. Well, he just offered to do it if I bought the compressor, which is like a few $100. And so he's coming back. I just got a text from him. Looks like he's going to try to come back on Friday and fix it. Super cool dude, super generous. Had no reason to do any of that, but he said it was the least he could do because he'd been listening to the podcast for like over 10 years. Oh, wow. And so he was a huge fan of it. And he was just thankful that the entertainment had been coming all these years. And that was his little way of, not so little in my book, way of paying me back specifically. So I had to give him a shout out.
Michael, I got a problem with my AC.
You notice
I've already spent $500 $250 the first round, and then fucking another $250 for another.
Yeah,
now, it's still shit. And I got a leak by the compressor, so it's probably just a stupid ass fucking O-ring.
I guarantee you he'll be honest with you, and he'll get in there and he'll be able to figure it out relatively quickly. And it seems like he goes to you, like he can take it to you, so you don't have to suffer. He actually lives in my old stomping grounds up the Iniat Valley. But I wanted to give one more shout out because this motherfucker, he lost both of his legs in I believe it was Operation Iraqi Freedom. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong, Michael. I think that's what he said. It was definitely in Iraq, and he was in one of those. It wasn't a Humvee. It was like one of those bigger vehicles. I can't remember what it's called, but they went over. I don't. It seemed like it was a remote-controlled detonated device, as opposed to just like a landmine that will go off when it goes off. We go over it, but it was this device that was. They later found out about the size of a garbage can. Blew him all the fucking hell, and it sent him flying 60 feet, I think he said. And he was out for a little bit, and then when he came to, he looked down at one leg, and he's like, it was all backwards. He's like, oh, that's not good. Then he looked down at the other one, and there was really nothing below the knee except a little bone sticking out. Oh, and he said, he was in shock, of course, but he's looking down at it, and he just kind of like wiggles his knee up and down, like a walking motion. And he said he was just watching the bone nub just go up and down, like wiggle back and forth. I'm like, holy shit, man. So one of the other people, I think it might have been the driver, but one of the other people in that vehicle, even though he was in shock and freaking out, he was able to get him all tourniqueted and as quickly as they could get him the fuck out of there. And he basically ended up in Walter Reed Hospital, where he recovered for months. And now he's got these badass, almost like Terminator looking legs from the knee area down. So I wanted to personally say thank you for your service. I know I told you in person, Michael, but all of this is definitely worth a shout out, because as cynical as I am about a lot of the government, and certainly about a lot of these entanglements, if you will, I can definitely recognize heroicism and sacrifice when I sees it, and motherfucker definitely deserves our respect. And he's walking around with fucking Terminator legs now, and a sweet, kind guy on top of it. A lot of people would go through something like that and maybe, understandably, come out the other side not a pleasant human being.
I find that really, really inspiring, because I mean, with COVID, when I was in the hospital for a month, the last 2 weeks, I had to relearn how to walk, because everything's dead from the waist down. And I just kept on thinking about that. Well, I mean, if people could run around, like with, prosthetics and be an athlete, I could walk again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it was inspiring me to, stuff like that. So
it's an inspiring story all around. So there you have it. And we can move on from that. So hopefully we can get that part in there maybe this Friday, and the roster can join the world of the living once again. It's hard to invest too much money into that van, because it's not only driven to the moon, it has landed on the moon and cruised around on its surface.
Did a couple donuts in the couple craters.
Yeah, it's damn near 250,000 miles on that bad boy. It's crazy. So, TikTok overall, but it seems to be running fine. It just needs to keep me cool in these triple dig days. But anywho, John Mark joining us? Still nothing, huh?
I think I got regrets, man. I haven't ate fast food in like 3 months, and I was late. I was up at the house, kind of working on the boat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need food, but I gotta be ready for the show in a half hour. So I stopped at Jack in the Box and had a couple burgers.
Oh, when you haven't had it in a while, it can unsettle.
Mistakes were made during this broadcast.
It happens. Sometimes you got to live a little, though, even if it's only for the very moment.
It was delicious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was really savory, but yeah, no more.
It's been well over a decade for me since I've had any of that stuff, probably closer to 15 years. But I think about it from time to time. I paint it a lot. I paint a lot of McDonald's shit, and I paint a lot of fast food and snack foods that I can't eat, mostly because I enjoy the iconography, and the I'm a fan of graphic design and commercialism and advertising, especially in this country. So ends
Well, the
up-
worst part
it
is
makes me
that,
fucking hungry when I'm painting that shit, man.
oh, I bet. The worst part of that is I have to dialyze tomorrow. So it's, I think I might have ate way too much. And then I obviously drank way too much because they give you like a 64.
Well, I am glad you brought up the boat. I'm going to hold on to that for a bit, though, and let you guys get to your stories. And that way I can keep, because I got a list of things, but I'm going to keep an eye on the clock, and I might have to pull some of them. So let's see what y'all got on the docket here.
Let's see. I had a video I'm trying to pull up right now for. Sorry, I was trying to pull it up, and there it is. Okay. I have a fucking incredible video to show you guys. A little disturbing. This happened last week. I'm going to send it over Facebook Messenger. This is a lightning strike that happened where 4 men were sitting around a tree when a bolt of lightning hit the tree, basically. And it's uncanny to watch. Now, all 4 have survived. I don't know how.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're all in the middle of the park there.
Oh, they're huddled under the tree.
Ooh.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh.
Holy.
Pretty fucking wild, right?
Okay, so 3 of them
Yeah.
go down like at the same time, and then one last one just slowly goes down. That's disturbing to watch, even knowing so they all survived this?
All of them. I'm not sure where this is. I'm reading the story right here. Yeah, 4 horticulture
Jesus
staffers
Christ.
at the Housing Society in Guanggram, Gurugram.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
we're standing.
we can't call you wrong on it. We'll go with it.
Anyways, yeah, all 4 survived, but I love how the 3 go down like a fucking strike, like a bowling ball strike, and then the 4th one just kind of sits there for a second, slowly falls.
It's
over.
almost like-
I don't mean to laugh.
I know, but it's almost like I better pretend to have been hit so the lightning doesn't come back and get me. It's like a cartoon thing to do.
You know what's
Play that,
crazy
play
is sometimes I've seen one that I thought was completely photoshopped, but a lightning bolt hit the tree, and then the tree and combusted inside, right? So like all the sap ignited, but it stayed ignited. So it was like a lava pit inside of the tree.
Oh, I remember that. I think I remember that.
And it was like in the ground and shit. It's pretty trippy.
Well, it's interesting how they all huddled under a tree. I mean, don't we all know?
Well, I think it was this is rain. Maybe they weren't expecting lightning.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
I suppose you're right. Well,
Just trying to keep dry.
yeah, in rain. Well, it's good to keep in mind where there's rain, there can be lightning. It's hard to. Does it hit the tree? Looks like it hits
It's
them.
really hard to see. It's really hard to see.
Mhm.
You just see the flash.
The tree looks fine. It's just like, yeah, it's like whoosh. The other 3 part like a banana peel falling off of. It's like they all just go in like opposite quadrants, and then the other dude's still standing, and then slump. Yeah, very strange. Huh? Science. Who can predict? Best you stay inside. That's your safest bet.
Yep. Stay out of the rain.
Mm-hmm. Did you have another one, Chris?
I did. It's a story about necrobotics. Have you guys heard about this?
I think I saw them open for a 9-inch nail.
Some students at a university were playing around with the idea of like spiders, for instance. The way their legs move is like a hydraulic system. It's not muscle based, or I don't know. It's wonky, but basically they learned that if they took a spider corpse, they could put a little needle into its back and control its legs with air.
No.
So you basically have a little robot, like a corpsey robot.
A corpse robot. Spider
I
corpse
have-
robot.
I have a little video of what it's capable of doing, and this is just small little spiders, but they're able to actually pick up sugar cubes and stuff
Shit.
with these little fucking spider corpses. So that's coming across too here. I just made a
This
little
is gonna
clip for you guys
deeply
to
trouble
see.
some people. I like
Yes.
spiders, but that's okay. So it's just this limp ball, dead spider, and then they do stay in there. They pump the air in. Its legs go shooting out like it's about to jump onto you. And it picks. Is the boy watching this? And now it's picking up a sugar cube and lifting it about 5 inches and dropping it like a little fucking spider crane. And then it opens up
Man.
again. That troubles me, and I like spiders. And
I was gonna-
robots.
Yeah, and they're saying there may be some actual functionality for this. Like It's a material that's biodegradable. Obviously, it doesn't cost a lot to manufacture. There's no rubber or
all they're
plastic
doing,
in
it's
it.
an air syringe. All they're doing is pushing and pulling.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, with other creatures that are larger, perhaps. I don't know what other. I immediately go to the crabs, but I think they have more like a muscle-based thing. It's not the same, but
Did
I
you
don't know.
Spiders
if you
get
went to
pretty
like
big.
a bowling alley and they had a little machine there with the spiders that pick up your dolls and put
The
them in?
tarantula. I don't think
Yeah.
that'd be terribly popular. The
Never
claw, replace the claw with
Mm-hmm.
the tarantula. I don't know why I felt like it needed to rhyme with claw. I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
It
I
grosses me out in a weird way. But I suppose maybe what are we gonna do with this other than party tricks? But that really works. It works right a fucking way. Okay. Did we get a text from John Mark?
I didn't see anything come through.
Okay. Well, Lyle, did you have any stories you wanted to?
Not really. I've been so busy just running around doing everything.
Well,
I didn't have a chance to look up anything or anything.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your boat, like I said, because in the we had a group thread going the other day, the four of us, and you said that you'd gotten the boat, and I think I asked you, what are you going to name it, the SS Crippler? And you weren't sure yet, but it got my mind thinking because, I've always heard the old adage that it's bad luck to go changing the name of a vessel once it has been christened. So I looked that up. I wanted to see if there's any origin behind that and how widely believed it still is. It seems like it is still very, very widely believed. Like a lot of people just don't want to go renaming their fucking boats, especially the bigger like seafaring boats.
Sure.
Where
It's
you could run into way more trub.
Christine, like the car.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah. And I get that it just feels kind of weird. It's like, but people rename pets. And they're living things. I don't know. But I looked around and I found a few things, but I liked what howstuffworks.com had to say about it. And I'm just going to read it. It says, most psychologists believe that superstitions evolve from feeling a lack of self-control. Writer and psychology professor Stuart Vyse states that when something important is at stake, yet the outcome is uncertain, then superstitions are likely to be used to fill the gap and make us feel more confident. Now, because so much about taking a boat or ship out on the water relies on things beyond our control, the weather, the state of the ocean, the mechanics of the vessel, sailors have a lot to worry about. And it makes plain sense, then, that so many superstitions revolve around sailing, boating, and fishing. Just a few examples of these long-held beliefs include, now listen up, Lyle, you're going to want to follow along here.
I'm taking notes.
Apparently whistling on a boat is bad luck. Never heard that. Bringing bananas on a boat is bad luck.
Especially when you eat it in front of your second mate and make eye contact.
Oh, yeah. Well, that that myth writes itself.
Right.
Apparently, you should never sail on a Thursday or a Friday. That's very limiting. If you see a redhead before boarding a ship, it's bad luck.
What if you?
Dolphins swimming alongside a ship are good luck, which is confusing given the propensity for unsavory activities, as we have discussed ad nauseum of late, that dolphins are known to partake in. And of course, changing the name of a ship or a boat is considered very bad luck. So why? Well, this superstition goes back a long time and is even mentioned in the classic novel Treasure Island, in which Long John Silver says, "What a ship be christened, so let her stay." Tales abound of captains renaming their ships in a moment of hubris, only to be met with a tragic watery end. And legend says that when every ship is christened, its name goes into a ledger of the deep, maintained by Neptune or Poseidon, depending on your belief system, himself. Renaming a ship or boat means you're trying to slip something past the gods, and you will be punished for your deviousness.
by Nessie, Loch Ness monsters and squids.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Now, it goes on to say, another more practical explanation is that back in the day when most boats were used to transport cargo, each vessel had its own reputation, good or bad, in ports of call all over the world. A sudden name change would render a boat and therefore its reputation unrecognizable and likely cause many problems for the captain and crew. So I thought that was intriguing. But there is good news because, you know, if the dickhead that you bought your boat from named it the Pussy Pontoon or something that you just can't wait, can't live with. Actually, Pussy Pontoon may be your Huckleberry Lyle. I could see you cruising. You old Pussy Pontoon. But apparently you can change the name if you perform a boat renaming ceremony. Now, I looked this up, and there are a few different varieties, but basically they all agreed that if you decide to change the name of your boat, fellow sailors consider it good form to perform a renaming ritual, and that makes the sea gods aware that you're renaming the boat, showing them that you have no underhanded motives, and leaving you free to sail on in the Pussy Pontoon with Conv.
Well, how many virgins do we have to sacrifice for this ritual?
Doesn't say, but it ballparks. Anywho, but this sent me down a rabbit hole of other superstitions, and that I was curious about their origins, and some of the long-running ones that we can't seem to let go of for one reason or another. And I found this list on Live Science, and I thought I would share at least some of these. Keeping an eye on the cloak. Many of them seem pretty mundane, and common sense theories tied to it, like this one, the legend of opening an umbrella indoors being bad luck.
Oh yeah.
Very, very highly prevailing myth, or well, maybe not myth, but it says, Live Science says, in Extraordinary Origins of Everyday Things, it's a book, the scientist and author Charles Panady wrote, in 18th century London, when metal-spoked waterproof umbrellas began to become a common rainy day sight, their stiff, clumsy, springy mechanism made them veritable hazards to open indoors. A rigidly spoked umbrella opening suddenly in a small room could seriously injure an adult or child. That could even happen with today's much safer and much less pokey and sharp and shattery umbrellas. Or shatter a fragile, a frangible? I've never heard that word. Shatter a frangible object. Even a minor accident could provoke unpleasant words or a minor quarrel. Themselves strokes of bad luck in a family or among friends. Thus, the superstition arose as a deterrent to opening umbrellas indoors. There's a few that are like that, where it kind of makes sense. It's like, no, it's a bad idea. So, it's like, we don't want kids peeing in the pool, so they made up that there's a chemical that will turn their their pee like bright blue or something. As far as I know, to this day, there is still no such chemical, but they're still telling kids that. I think kids have gotten wise, though. But similar thing. Put a spooky little legend in front of it, and suddenly people are going to be listening more. A little... moving on to...
John.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
I was going to say, did I miss you? Did you talk about the don't walk under a ladder thing?
Oh, I'm about to.
Are you sure you got it okay?
Okay, cool.
Do you want to share?
Oh, no, I was just wondering if you did it yet, because I've been thinking about that, like, once in a while over the course of my life. Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What about Cross Path of a Black Cat?
Oh, that's on the list. You guys are getting ahead of me here. So this one, walking under a ladder, has been traced back to ancient Egypt. And apparently a ladder leaning against a wall essentially forms a triangle shape. And Egyptians regarded this shape as sacred, as exhibited, for example, by their pyramids. To them, triangles represented the trinity of the gods, and to pass through a triangle was to desecrate them. This belief winded its way up through the ages. Centuries later, followers of Jesus Christ usurped the superstition, interpreting it in light of Christ's death. Panady explained, because a ladder had rested against the crucifix, it became a symbol of wickedness, betrayal, and death. Walking under a ladder courted misfortune. So that's what this particular book, featured by Live Science, has to say about it. Interesting tidbit. It says, in England in the 1600s, criminals were forced to walk under a ladder on their way to the gallows. I suppose one last curse before the ultimate curse.
Well, so what, with the
one last curse before you die.
Mm-hmm.
The ladder on the crucifix, is that like something that's like biblical? It was like written down?
Yeah, in a lot of the old biblical illustrations, you'll see the ladder. There's part of the story is like somebody went up to poke a spear in Jesus's side and to see if he was still alive, and when they saw the blood ran clear, they knew that he was dead. So I've seen, just visually, I don't ever remember hearing any significance about a ladder having to do with Christianity, but this would have been, I'm sure, if this was how it went, that was something that was long done away with.
Well, I was wondering, like, maybe like if you go under it, then you're kind of like defying, being able to actually help, like Jesus on the cross. If you had a ladder, you could just go up there and cut them down.
Yeah, I don't know what the thinking was, because it doesn't seem to mention anything specifically.
Which is this one.
Oh, Chris, can you mute your mic real quick?
Oh, I'm no sorry.
That's right. It doesn't seem to mention anything about walking under it in the Christian version. It's just more about, like, they sort of took. Seems like they may be putting one piece into another piece's hold a little bit to maybe try to find connections. That's a lot of how history works with these things. You can only trace them back so far. So I think maybe they're just saying that was one other reason that ladders at one point apparently were considered evil or otherwise not good by Christians.
See, I would have thought that it would have come from people working under a ladder at a job site and either knocking the ladder over or getting a hammer dropped on their skull, or you know what I mean, something like that, where it's like,
that's
hey,
like
walk
the
under,
umbrella thing.
Don't walk under a fucking ladder.
I got a quick story. When we were doing the airport, there was a little private airport that was built up there, and the owner of the airport was walking around with his a couple of the other like heating guys, electrical guys, walking through it. And one of the helpers had a 12-foot ladder, and what we have to cut flex, which is what you run between ductwork and like register drills, is a knife. It's a double-sided knife. It's called it's a duct knife. You cut the insulation, then there's a little wire cutter in there, and he had it on the top of the 12-foot ladder. Well, he ended up moving the ladder, and the fucking knife came down and landed right by that dude's foot. The owner of the place, $1 billion guy. I was like, oops.
See, walking under a ladder can be bad luck.
See?
Well, to John Mark's point, that is essentially the origin of the umbrella myth, and there's another one coming up, or I should say legend, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Broken mirrors, we may have the ancient Greeks to thank on that one. It goes on to say, in ancient Greece, it was common for people to consult mirror seers, who told their fortunes by analyzing their reflections. As the historian Milton Goldsmith explained in his book, Signs, Omens, and Superstitions, which sounds like a fascinating book, divination was performed by means of water and a looking glass. This was called
scrying.
Catoptromancy? Catoptromancy? The mirror was dipped into the water, and a sick person was asked to look into the glass. If his image appeared distorted, he was likely to die. If clear, he would live. In the first century AD, the Romans added a caveat to this superstition. At that time, it was believed that people's health changed in 7-year cycles. A distorted image resulting from a broken mirror therefore meant 7 years of ill health and misfortune, rather than outright death per se. Now this one seems to be sending a message of reverence more than fear. that is the notion of spilled salt. Do you guys know the old adage in spilled salt? If you spill some salt, what you're immediately supposed to do to avoid cursing?
You're supposed to throw it over your shoulder.
Toss it over your shoulders, yeah. I didn't hear that one until, I don't know, maybe 15 years
Dumb
ago.
and Dumber?
I didn't grow up hearing that one. But yeah, live science.
Didn't they say that in Dumb and Dumber? Yeah.
I had
I don't
it
remember.
was like to actually, if you had bad luck, you're supposed to do that. But then there's people that use it for blocking out evil energy too. So
You're breaking up. Am I breaking up to you guys? I'm getting some internet weirdness here. So Live Science says spilling salt has been considered unlucky for thousands of years. Around 3500 BC, the ancient Sumerians first took to nullifying the bad luck of spilled salt by throwing a pinch of it over their left shoulders. It's got to be the left. The ritual spread to the Egyptians, the Assyrians, and later the Greeks. It's fascinating how much weird shit takes. The superstition ultimately reflects how much people prized and still prize salt as a seasoning for their food. The etymology of the word salary shows how highly we value it. According to Panadi, the Roman writer Petronius in the Satyricon originated not worth his salt toward the Roman soldiers who were given special allowances for salt rations called salarium. Salt money, the origin of our word salary.
sure.
So like I said, it seems maybe this stemmed from a little teaching or a little reminder of the preciousness of salt.
Sure.
And it seems to have really fucking taken. We take so much for granted, but God, salt would have been everything back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to think back then, they didn't have freezers or anything like that, so they had to basically jerkify their food, in the desert.
Jerkify that food. Well, I love reading the stories of the old trade routes, and the Silk Road and how every region had something. Like every place had something. And
so there was a
value, and they would travel to these markets or other towns and trade some salt for some meat, and then some salt for some tobacco, and tobacco for some, so on and so on, some wine. It's a fascinating part of history that was all but erased with the invention of credit and legal tender. Go ahead, Lyle.
Yeah. There was a video game called Assassin's Creed, and it's Origins, I believe it is, and it's in ancient Egypt, and they actually brought in like scholars and shit to make it as real as it could be to that time period. And so they even have the game where you're not in the game, you're just exploring the maps and the people and the civilizations and all the food. It's trippy. They put a lot of work into that game.
Sounds intriguing. I've been watching somebody live stream. What's her name? Heidi Levine, something like that.
Yeah,
cute tattooed pinup girl. She's been playing and live streaming Alien Isolation.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a new game, but it's intense.
It's terrifying. I can't get through. I'm too scared.
I can't.
I guess that's the way to get Ronster to watch video games. How you fucking put a little pinup girl, a little live.
Well, no, I watch people play. That's kind of the only way I see games. It's usually dudes, but this was a nice change of pace actually. But it was fun because she, it wasn't a dude trying to be cool or tough. Not that that's what they do, but this girl was just like screaming, which added to my, I was watching as I was falling asleep under my blankets, and there's a lot of the game is hiding. You just have to hide why some creepy dudes walk by, or of course the alien walks by and peeking in on you and through the little vent slats of a locker. I was like, oh, this is intense. And then it's just all of a sudden there. And then you see it's like, oh fuck, I'm dead. And then before you even can respond, you've got a tail shoved through your fucking soul. Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
I guess if I'm gonna get you to watch me play BioShock, I'd put a little bikini on for you, Ronster.
I'm in.
Get my little cam set up.
That's how you're gonna shock my bio. Just put a little bikini on there, because you would probably have at least 1,000 followers immediately.
Would you kindly tune in, if you know what I'm saying?
I was thinking about setting my shit back up for streaming, but I just don't know. It's just too much.
Hey man, we'll be bikini brothers. We can bikini bro stream.
You know what? I would do that with you.
Fuck yeah, Lyle.
In a heartbeat, and we could do Elden Ring.
I'm telling you, you guys,
John Mark's like, I'm in.
you guys might be onto something.
We're doing it, baby.
There's your stick. All you need is a stick, and there it is.
I got like
help you one big stick. You know what I'm saying?
got like 30 hours in that game, and then I just kind of quit.
Yeah, I did too. It's fucking hard. John Mark is an expert.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I got like 300. I think I got like 300.
It's insane.
Well, like I moved, so it's just like I dropped everything and then I started a new fucking life, and then I forgot about video games.
Yeah.
But I would like to do streaming. I mean, because it's fun, you know.
Yeah.
I would too.
Well, here is the best guess on the knock on wood history. You know, knocking on wood when somebody says something that you would hate to speak into existence. This one's kind of funny because it, you know, of the current movement of the manifestation principle or belief system, whatever you want to call it, that's blown up in recent years. I don't know. There's a lot to the manifestation thing that I think is real, but I think that a lot of the reason that that's blown up is because so many people ignore some of the more traditional teachings along with it, like the work part, like the life-changing part, and they just stick with, I'm just going to ask the universe for $1 million, and I'm going to affirm it and believe that it's already so. And in 3 days or 30 days, whatever the charlatans that sell the books and the videos are promising you, that's all you have to do. Well, do it. Report back. Let's get 1,000 people to do that for a month, and let's see if any of them, even one single one, gets rich from just the affirmations. But I have been doing a lot of, not affirmation type stuff, but I've been doing a lot of manifestation type work that's more like real world and like retraining my brain, and specifically concerning like not wanting to speak something into existence. I've really been paying attention to being careful with what I say a bit more, not like when we're joking around, shit like we say on the podcast or just trying to make somebody laugh. I don't buy that that's the kind of, you know, weight of the word. Not that can't have a serious effect, but, you know, like seriousness, like the way we all have an inner dialogue and it's going nonstop. Like we have conversations with ourselves. We imagine conversations with other people. We invent scenarios, and sometimes we'll go down that rabbit hole of like, well, if that happened, then how would I respond? And how would they respond? And like you can take yourself all the way into like this horrible conversation that isn't even happening and probably never will happen. I do this. I have discovered that I do this a lot. And I'm like, why am I tensing up? It's like, oh, I'm imagining this shit. And it's almost like it's happening, not in the background, but it's not like I'm sitting down, gritting my teeth going, oh, I'm going to work through this in a processing sort of way. It just happens. It just like sneaks up in a strange habitual way. So I've been trying to be aware of that more and steering those. If I am going to have imaginary conversations, they can go anywhere you want. So why not point them in a direction that is in your favor? And since I've been doing that, I have noticed a much more productive life and a much more a better life. Things are happening for the roster in good ways. So I do believe in the power of a lot of this. I just don't think it's a magical thing where you're asking the universe for something, and if you really believe it's going to give it to you, I'm not saying that isn't a thing. You know, faith-based practice and beliefs are ancient. They're as old as time itself, and I'm not going to shit on that. I just have a bit of a problem where, but even the Bible, like a lot of these religions say, yeah, you're supposed to have faith. You pray for it, you ask for it, and then if I remember right, I think John Mark can probably back me up on this or correct me. I believe amen actually means, like, literally it just means like make it so, or so it is. I think it's something like that, where it's not like thank you, it's like, and now it is done. That's basically what amen is supposed to represent at the end of a prayer, because you're supposed to have that much faith that it's done because God is merciful and you pray to him. But even there, in the Bible, it's like faith without, I think there's a line note for note. It's like faith without works is nothing. So even in the world of faith, you're still supposed to get shit done. You're still supposed to like make things happen. You're not supposed to pray and then sit on your ass and wait for your million.
And just wait for it. Yeah.
So but this is what the this self-help manifestation world is teaching. They have conveniently removed all those things that a lot of people don't want to do, and they know they don't want to do them. This is much more appealing, just like fad diets, where it's like, this is going to be an easier way to go. So that's what sells the books. That's what gets the video plays. And I don't know. You do your own research there, kids. I don't think it's going to happen for you without doing more. It's got to be a complete breakfast scenario. But sorry, that was a tangent. I do want to get to this one because I thought this was kind of interesting because it is the power of words. But historians say that this may be one of the most prevalent superstitious customs in the United States. Its origin is very much in doubt, but some attribute it to the ancient religious rite of touching a crucifix. Of course, that would be made out of wood, most cases, when taking an oath. Alternatively, among the ignorant peasants of Europe, it may have had its beginning in the habit of knocking loudly to keep out evil spirits. I think that between those two things, that's a pretty understandable guess. And it is a guess. A little bit of mystery there. Anywho.
Cross?
No, a combination of knocking on wood. I don't know where that started, knocking on the door to ward off evil spirits. Maybe it's like to let them know you're here. Modern ghost hunters they do some of this kind of thing where they will, if they're trying to repel a spirit that's got bad energy, they'll, that's kind of, they have these rituals. Who knows what they're based on? But
you know what Huey Lewis would say? He said
I should.
It's the power of love. It's the power of love.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm afraid you're just too loud. Moving on. We talked about this one a long time ago, and I remember saying God bless you after someone sneezes. And this is kind of sad and kind of timely. The particular custom began in the 6th century AD by explicit order of Pope Gregory the Great. A terrible pestilence was spreading through Italy at the time. The first symptom was severe chronic sneezing, and this was often quickly followed by death. So Pope Gregory urged the healthy to pray for the sick at the sound of the first sneeze, and ordered that light-hearted responses to sneezes such as "May you enjoy good health" be replaced with more urgent "God bless you" commands. If a person sneezed when alone, the Pope recommended that they say a prayer for themselves in the form of "God help me." So next time you sneeze and no one's there to bless you, just shout,
"God help me!
God help me!"
I always thought it was that when you sneeze, your heart skips a beat. Just out of
Does that happen for you? My heart always skips beats, so I can't be a good judge, but I don't think that's normal.
Why it's like God bless you, because your heart just stopped. Skipped the beat. That's what I always was told. But
I thought I remembered reading somewhere where there was at some point that people thought that when you sneezed, it was a sign of like a demon trying to enter your body or something. So that's why they would say it.
Oh, even better.
But that would track with the disease thing, right? Where it's like, and some negative thing trying to get into your body or whatever, or in your body. So I don't know.
So who named the Pope? The Great. Like, I mean, would be like Lyle the Hung, and John Mark be like the smart one and well traveled.
Mm-hmm.
That's our medieval names.
He's like, I am the Great. Yeah, he did well for himself. He probably just sneezed alone one day and said, "You know what? Don't help me, God. Bless me, for I am the Great.
Bless me.
Christen me the Great in a boat renaming ceremony."
Speaking of a little sidebar, but have you guys ever sneezed while you're coming?
No.
I feel like I had to have at some point, but it wasn't memorable. If I did,
it was I have, and I remember.
Dude Bro Party Man.
It was a very fucking confusing sensation because
yeah. Well, they say sneezing is
so
partially orgasmic.
Yes, it was. So it was like, where, why?
Yeah, what was the prevailing sensation?
I don't know. What's the problem? It was fucking.
That is the problem. Your brain's like, where do I send it? Where do I send the dopamine? To the balls or to your snot? You got a preference? Quick! Oh, too late. It's over.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I feel like it would ruin it.
Yeah, it wasn't something I'd do again intentionally. That's for sure.
You know, it seemed like it'd be like your star.
I'm not like, baby, I'm about to come. Hit me with the pepper.
Yeah, that'd be awful if it was amazing, and that's the dragon you have to chase. You pack a pepper with your
Bring a
condoms,
pepper for this weekend.
like the little McDonald's packets, the little paper tubes that it's cracking open. Yeah, like do a line off her titties. It's like, I'm almost there, baby. Ah, God damn it. Sorry, it was
Too soon.
a preliminary. I must be tired. I must be catching cold. God help me. That's what you yell when you come and sneeze at the same time. God help me.
This is pain.
That's fucking funny.
To be honest, the worst is one when you sneeze and fart at the same time.
Or if you go in pee,
that I do all the
because it
time.
like tries to fucking rocket the piss out of your dick all of a sudden. You're like, "Ah!"
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. That I hate. It tries to rocket it out. It's like, whoa, slow down.
He's there going fast.
I am not fully contracted.
You're gonna
You just
bring a leak.
you just took my number 3 hose to a number 12. Are you insane? We got a burster. We got a burster. Yeah, that's one of the worst things in life. It's funny. I sneeze
that
hard,
to be what you
too.
say. I imagine that to be what you say when you come, Ron.
We got a burster.
We got a burster.
God help me.
More importantly, help you.
In the other room. Oh, that's good shit. Okay, how are we doing on the clock? I got time for a couple more of these, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we still got now. Horseshoes. This one's interesting, and I do not recall this explanation. Horseshoes became known as lucky. This is kind of intriguing history. Belief in its magical powers traced back to the Greeks, who thought the element iron had the ability to ward off evil. Not only were their horseshoes wrought of iron, they also took the shape of crescent moon in 4th century Greece. For the Greeks, another book, a symbol of fertility and good forage. I never thought about that. It's just sort of amazing. Well, it's already in the shape of it. Get your 2 good lucks for in one shoe. The belief in the talismanic powers of horseshoes passed from Greeks to the Romans, and from them to the Christians. In the British Isles in the Middle Ages, when fear of witchcraft was rampant, people attached horseshoes open end up to the sides of their houses and doors. People thought witches feared horses, and they would shy away from any reminders of them.
No,
Wow.
dude, what it was is witches were fucking afraid of shoes. Get up?
Mm-hmm. They just sucked at horseshoes. That's the real witch test.
Right.
If they just would have played them in a round of horseshoes and like, no, we suck. We cannot. Witches cannot play horseshoes.
You remember the tie a rope on her and throw her in the pond if she floats and she's a witch.
Yeah. Burn her. Now, witchcraft, of course, leads into the next one, which is fear of black cats crossing your path. One of you was asking about this earlier. Now, while the ancient Egyptians, of course, and a lot of other societies thought very highly of black cats, especially, some later civilizations felt otherwise. During the Middle Ages, people in many parts of Europe thought that black cats were the familiars or companions of witches. I don't know. We talked about that, too, a long time ago in one of the witch episodes, origins of witches and why they're associated with black cats. They thought that they could even be witches themselves in disguise, and that a black cat crossing your path was an indication of bad luck, that the devil was watching you. This seems to have been the dominant belief held by the Pilgrims when they came to America, perhaps explaining the strong association between black cats and witchcraft that exists. I mean, right now they're probably loading up the dollar store shelves with witches and black cats. That is a prevailing fucking legend. Another one that is prevailing is the one I'll end on here. The fear of the number 13. Do any of you guys know what that phenomenon's called?
13? I don't know.
No.
Friday the 13th? Or...
I do. Triskaidekaphobia.
That's correct. Triskaidekaphobia. I had
Of
faith
course.
that John Mark might know it. And it has, well, here's why he probably knows it, because it has its origins in Norse mythology. Now, in a well-known tale, 12 gods, this will sound familiar to any of you Marvel fans, 12 gods were invited to dine at Valhalla, a magnificent banquet hall in Asgard, the city of the gods. Loki, the god of strife and evil, crashed the party, raising the number of attendees to 13. The other gods tried to kick Loki out, and in the struggle that ensued, Balder, the favorite among them, behind that name, was killed. Oh, I'm not excited about it now. Their favorite Balder was killed, and Scandinavian avoidance of 13-member dinner parties and dislike in general of the number 13 then spread south to the rest of Europe. It was later reinforced in the Christian era by the story of the Last Supper, at which Judas, the disciple who betrayed Jesus, was the 13th guest at the table. Mm-hmm. We're fucking weird, man.
Connection. Yeah.
We've let go a lot of things that we should probably hold on to, and we've held on to a lot of things that we should just let the fuck go of. But
well, no, it's one of those
they're
deals.
Not all bad advice. Sorry, Lyle.
For our generation, like if you were invited to go to the Red Wedding, would you really want to go to a Red Wedding?
Well, not if they called it the Red Wedding.
Game of
Yeah.
If it was just Bill and Marsha's wedding, and I like
They
them.
serve bread. They serve bread.
They serve bread.
I mean,
They serve bread and salt. They let them into the house.
we might lock the doors behind you, so just be aware of that.
We only found out later. So live and learn. But yeah, I like these ones that are based in common sense. They're sort of like rhymes, like nursery rhymes that taught you to not, go into the woods alone and not trust strangers and not take candy from strangers. And little things like that. That's just good, plain advice. But it's interesting how some of them took and managed to stay sort of just in this ethereal, well, it couldn't hurt to avoid the 13th of whatever. But yeah. 13. That's an interesting one. And on that note, anybody got anything else they want to drop before we move on to some weird ass triv? Do we have a guest joining us tonight?
Yeah, we do. Let me make sure they are available. I said about 7:15, so let me see if they're there.
Oh,
Let's take a quick break, shall we?
Fill it. Yeah.
I bet we can.
Right back. So did you guys say that Alien Isolation is a new game, or is it a few years old?
It's a few years old.
It's so good.
I can't remember when it came out, but it's several years old at this point.
It's working for me.
But yeah, I that's one of those ones where I think I tried to start. I started playing it, but I just I couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't do it for whatever reason. But I think it was one of those. It's one of those games where if you're not fully into it and you just keep going, it's too easy to get lost and forget what you're doing or where you are or what's going on, that kind of thing,
Yeah, it seems almost not necessarily like a puzzle game, but like there's more of that figuring shit out than there is button mashing, which is what I like. Like that just kind of atmospheric running around and everything looks so good.
So much shit out. There's so many options for things. It's too much. It's too much, Ron. Too much muchery. Too much muchery.
Too muchery.
Hello.
So Lyle, have you thought about a name for your boat? Was it already named?
It hasn't, and I don't know. I haven't really kind of thought about it too much. Like I told you, Tommy Roche. He's an awesome artist, illustrator, tattooist in the Valley.
Rat Rodder.
Yep, Rat Rodder. And he does really awesome stencil work. And he used to do T-shirts for my buddy Steve. And every year we had an annual golf tournament. And he made this like hella sexy looking devil kind of girl.
Like a coop devil?
Kind of like a coop devil, kind of like something you'd see on Ram Zombie or something like that. But sure. I think I want to have him make something like her with big old devil horns and like a trident. And then we'll just put it on the boat, somewhere. And I'm not sure if I want to go to the whole stencil of like, naming the
Full
boat.
name.
Typically you would
kinda
put
fun.
it on the transom, which is the back ass of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is I have 2 motors
You
on the
got
back.
motors there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
You'd
it.
want it-
Go the whole length of the boat. Make it
That's
crippler
what they do.
sized. I think it'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was thinking-
Salmon Slayer.
Salmon's Lair, I like that. Power Bait 69.
No, now I'm starting to sound like email address.
I might have disclosed some of my passwords.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was thinking about
You can get a hold of me on Messenger if you know what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe you should hold a contest.
Huh?
See if how about this? You're not beholden to anybody's suggestions, but that'll be the question for next week.
Sure.
First of all, comment on anything you want to comment about, or send an email. Let us know what your vote for Lyle's boat name to be. Again, he doesn't have to take you up on it, but who knows? A suggestion might come in that's just.
It doesn't have to be personal. You could say like the stabbing crabbing. I don't know what something.
Stabbing crabbing.
Stabbing crabbing. Oh.
That has so many layers.
Mhm.
Okay. So where are we at, Chris? We got our guest. Do we need to fill a bit more? We're a little early.
Let's give her a few more minutes. Yeah. Whatever we can do. I haven't heard back.
Yeah, so let us know. And you can give us a couple joke ones. Maybe give us a serious one. It doesn't have to be a gag. I'm spacing on what I would like. If I had a boat, I'd probably do something. I'd probably put a pinup girl on it. Yeah.
Sure.
And give it some sort of something Betty or Betty something, one way or the other. Probably the word Betty in it. Or I don't know. Something from some old nautical book. Something nerdy like that.
Trying to think like
Queequeg. Not that on the nose.
Ooh, that'd be even better. The Bob and Betty. Oh, yeah.
The Bob and Betty.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Be killer.
See, I can tell you this. The first thing I would be thinking about if I bought a boat is what to name it and what the decal would look like. That's the first thing. That's the only reason I do make or own anything is to name it and make it look cooler.
Well, for everybody at home listening to this, it's what it is. It's an older boat. It's a 1977 Boston Whaler, and those are basically fishing boats. They are kind of set up back in the day like a luxury boat, but it's perfect for fishing. The back put big old downriggers, and that's basically how you troll for salmon. So
call it a mini yacht.
Yeah, you could
give it a yacht rock name.
Yeah, you could easily clean it up and put nice upholstery in it and make it, fancy like a mini yacht, but it's really meant for fishing.
Yeah, it's a fishing boat, but it's a cool little boat.
Yeah.
How long is it?
17 inches. It's 17 inches soft.
Swing low, sweet cherry.
Well, yeah, the trailer is a little bit longer. It's probably like a 20-foot trailer, but the boat itself is only like 17.
17?
But
yeah, that's a pretty big boat, actually.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. I was out there messing with it before I came home to be on the show. I was emptying out some of the gunnels and all the garbage that was in it, left in there for like 6 years. So.
Hopefully, you did a garbage toss ceremony. That's not to anger the lake gods.
Oh, for sure.
Do you think you'll take it up to Lake Chelan?
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
See, my plan is because it's such an old relic, and I'm not even, I'm being actually serious. It's such an old relic of a boat that I want to keep it in its, condition, but I also want to modernize them. So I'm going to put basically like an up-to-date kind of like really good fish finder on it. It's already got electric downriggers, so doesn't have to do anything with that. So what I want to plan on doing is putting on like little LED lights and switchboard. I'm going to have to rewire the whole thing, and I need to mount a spotlight for emergencies, and I need to get a VHS. No, that's not right either.
VHF radio? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, radio. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
and they're fairly cheap. You get used for like $80. And That's just if you're going down, you could call somebody and say, "Hey, mayday, mayday."
Put a little hammock on there. Does it have a bed space? Think you'll sleep on it out under the stars some night?
You know, it doesn't, but I could make one. There's the whole
17
front
feet.
of the. Yeah, there's the whole front of the boat, which I was thinking about doing. I watched a guy. He was refurbishing seats for his Bayliner. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, well, we'll just do this." And he went back to his wood yard in the back of his yard, DIY guy. And he just basically traced out the layout of what he needed for a lid and cut it out and then ordered foam from Amazon along with some, well, he basically just ordered on Amazon. So he cut out the
Middleman.
plywood onto the foam, cut the foam, and then just basically stapled the vinyl back to the cardboard or the plywood. And he had a perfectly good cushion or a lid for his thing. What I want to do for the front of the boat, it has its own little, shape, but it takes up it's a long area. You could sleep on it if you wanted to. You could probably fit 2 people on the front of the boat.
This is making me want to get a boat and pimp it out.
And well, because that's what I want to do is just take some plywood and some foam and just make my own pillow for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could do a little, because the thing is, Ron,
movie/gaming station.
You could do it. There's a power supply right at the front.
No.
But what you could do is make a little love, do a little dance. Get down. You could boat during the night. So if you wanted to, you could have a little bit of wine, a little cheese and crackers.
I'm telling you, I'm already picturing my boat.
and then you just turn on your fucking anchor light, and it's all good. Nobody's gonna see you.
I can edit this out, but I'm curious what you paid for it. I have no idea what a boat costs.
Oh, this one was actually kind of halfway gifted to me, but it was about $1,000.
Holy shit!
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
I could swing a halfway gifted $1,000 boat.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he could have
put 2 dicks though.
He could have put it on the market for like at least $3,000, and he's just like, because he first told me 2,500 or something.
Are boats that cheap?
And I was like,
I don't think so.
I don't either.
No,
That's a 17-foot boat.
You could get a Bayliner, like a 17-foot Bayliner, for about $3,000. That's pretty nice.
3 or 30?
And still run it. 3,000.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty cheap. If you go back to the 80s,
I would have believed 30.
they're pretty expensive. The thing about what I got is it's almost like a fucking relic that will never age, because the thing is it's unsinkable. Boston whalers are the unsinkable boat. They're basically,
don't go tempting fate.
No.
Remember what they used to call the Titanic?
You could right. You could saw that boat in half and put a trolling motor on each side and still get home.
Okay, well,
it's because what it is, it's fiberglass and it's 4 inches of foam, and then it's fiberglass again. So like if you hit a rock, it's not going to matter. You might put a giant hole the size of a basketball in the hull. It's still going to float because it's majority of it's foam.
Well, maybe Rose would have moved her stingy ass over and let Jack on board. She had half of the old
Don't drop that diamond. Bring it on board.
Well,
All right, guys. Well, I'd like to welcome longtime listener and even longer time friend for me, Shelby, to the podcast.
Shelby, welcome aboard the SS. The SS How Bizarre.
I was thinking about this. I think Shelps might be.
I think you're muted, Shelby.
Yeah. I asked her to mute. She's in her car right now, almost home. She's going to transition to a headset, but she should be able to unmute. Shelps, you there? Wakey.
Shelby.
Well, this will be fun.
I'm going to answer for Shelby. I'm going to give her a southern accent.
So, yeah, I'm excited about the boat and to get out.
It keeps muting me.
Oh, there you are.
Yes.
Oh, I think it's got a delayed trigger, so it fucks with people. But there you are.
Welcome,
am I here
Shel.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Ahoy.
I haven't heard your voice in so long. It's been forever. We used to play Xbox back in the day. It seems like.
Oh my God, that's right.
Oh, wow.
I missed that.
I know.
And I
was
used to
thinking
just drive by back and forth in front of your house back in the day, but you didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
She
That
knew.
doesn't sound stalkery.
She knew. Well, you were very kind.
I was probably okay with it.
Okay, guys. Shelps is familiar with this program, so we're gonna jump right into this. But God, there's just something that needs to happen before. Well, there's always something we do, isn't there? What the fuck? I know it's on the
Okay,
tip
you know
of my-
what? Fuck it. Let's all do it.
Okay.
You ready? Let's see how well you guys memorized it.
Oh, I'm bad.
And 1, 2, 3. It's weird
It's weird trivia.
Oh yeah, the delay.
Just me and you.
With Christopher F. Hart, a man from Florida. Poop things, square shit in nature. This is disorienting. And don't get me started on the goddamn brown herring. Ooh, it's weird trivia. Get somebody disoriented. If someone walked out of the room and back in to that part of the podcast, they're like, "Oh, I'm stroking." No, this is a stroke.
Totally having a stroke. Yeah, I smell burnt toast, and I'm hearing this garbage.
That was almost like the old birthday song trick.
I always think of that. It's my favorite thing. Okay, we're gonna play in traditional.
Metal in my mouth. Metal taste in my mouth.
It's gross.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Okay, traditional order: Ron, John, Mark, Lyle, and then Shelps. 4 questions. Let's see how you guys do here. Question 1. The FDA recently made some changes, and soon millions of Americans will be eligible to get this as an over-the-counter item, negating the need to visit a doctor or get an exam. What product will Americans soon be able to get without a prescription, basically?
Okay.
Is it A, antibiotics?
Oh, that seems. Yeah.
it won't burn when you
I
pee.
think that seems like a good idea.
I think it seems like a horrible idea. People will abuse them, will get super bugs.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it-
you're right. I hadn't thought about that angle.
You
Okay.
mean
Is
system
it B-
quits because it's all dependent on the drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Is it B, hearing aids?
What? Can you repeat that,
You
please?
need a prescription for hearing aids? I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really? Yeah.
Did I really not
is
have
it-
an idea? No, I promise. I really did.
Is it C, transgender therapy hormones?
Ooh, so you could like get boobs if you're a guy and the penis.
That's-
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, medically. Anyways, yeah. Or
Help you along your way.
D, Viagra.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Viagra is still
All those,
is
I was like,
Viagra
oh,
still- I
no.
thought Viagra was already prescribed.
No.
It's not. It's all those other supplemental versions.
You can go to the gas station and get like tiger's blood.
Yeah, you gotta love the
Take
fucking
5 pills and you'll be
cobra
rock.
cock. Do you want a dick or do you want a cobra
Dragon
cock?
anus.
You don't want your flappy little balls.
Jurassic jizz. I think I was heading for giraffe, but I turned. There's something different about you tonight. That's my
It's
giraffe.
like you got a dragon dick.
That's right. I don't have sloppy balls.
Cobra
They're
cock.
tied, ready to rock.
It's like sloth cock.
Yeah, you got the wrong shit. But God damn it.
Oh no, I got sloth cock instead of just.
Early Ermine. What? God damn it. Why do these even exist?
I did see sloth cock open up for garbage in '96.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, again, real fast recap. The FDA has made some changes recently, and soon millions of Americans will be eligible to get this as an over-the-counter item. Antibiotics, hearing aids, transgender therapy hormones, or Viagra. Ronster.
I'm torn between A and D. Torn,
The big D.
torn between antibiotics and getting it up. I think I might chase the purple herring and go with the old Viag. I promise I won't take a 4-hour boner's length to decide, but the antibiotics thing is interesting too. I'm going to, just by a hair, just by a little curly hair, I'm going to go Viagra.
You got it. Okay, I'll put you down for a D.
That
a
would
hard
be
D.
that would be the bane of Cobra Cock's existence.
Okay.
Like, oh,
Rock.
We had a good run.
Trans Am and let's burn rubber.
Did we tell you that we might also, I don't know, maybe cure dementia?
Maybe.
Cobra memory.
Cerebral cobra.
Prove us wrong. Cerebral Cobra.
Wait till you taste the venom. Let's go.
Taste the venom of sharp memory. Higher levels of concentration. Better
then
at
you got-
wordplay. Okay.
But then you get out
were
the
taking
end of it
photos.
where like it might cause diarrhea and
Well, yeah, you don't want to know
Anal
side effects of them shits.
Cobra cock.
Cobra cock might kill. That's all it says. 2-word disclaimer.
The filthy tagline: Cobra cock might kill. Period.
Somebody has to do that as a fucking disclaimer.
Be like, let's see, can I get a pack of smokes, Red Bull, and what's that over the glass over there? Cobra cock.
In case I'm missing a kill myself basis here. Yeah. Okay. Did we get John Mark's answer?
I got Ron.
No.
Moving on.
Sorry.
John Mark.
I don't think it's antibiotics for reasons previously mentioned.
Mhm.
I did not know that you had to have a prescription to get a hearing aid, if that's true. The gender affirming hormones and drugs and stuff, I highly doubt that right now in this political climate.
It's all
Viagra-
fairly new in terms of a lot of ins and outs of those things, but I bet that's in the works.
Viagra, I didn't. I swear I've seen commercials or heard them or read things. It's like no prescription necessary, but I don't know if that's like.
I think you're doing what I did, which is confusing it with Cobra cock. It's like for a long time, back when we had regular TV, those after a certain hour on some of the cable networks, that you would see commercials for those all the time. Extends.
No prescription necessary. In fact, if you have one, we won't give it to you.
I'm gonna go hard.
tired of being a pussy.
Hard
Can't get
D.
it up.
A hard D.
Hard D. Okay.
All right.
The blue choice.
Lyle.
You know I gotta go with the Cobra.
I mean, yeah, as a connoisseur of boner pills, I mean, like, we know where you're at.
Hey, I got you hooked up next time I see you.
Still got half a bottle of
wait,
Cobra
buddy.
cock on a
Yeah.
shelf.
Used
By the
to
way, I
be,
think we
10 years ago, it used to be weed brownies. Now you're like, I got the good stuff for you, son. Like, yeah, give me.
I think we just named your boat.
That's just my friend.
It says Cobra cock.
It's the Cobra.
It's a story in every swim.
Can't seem to walk through your doorway because it's the Cobra.
Save
Yeah.
some pussy for the rest of us, Captain Cobra cock.
Well, that's what that penicillin's for, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The antibiotics.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand, don't
Yeah.
they?
Sorry. We
No.
got to pull him to shore for some of my antibiotics.
Are a different woman at every port.
Arr,
What was I thinking?
gotta stay away from them crabs. You know. Okay.
I hope
what are you
it's
going
not
with, Lyle?
antibiotics.
I'm gonna make it short and sweet and go with Viagra, the little blue pill that could
Mhm.
check it.
Everyone's
All right,
so far.
family
All right,
game
Shelps.
so far.
I'm following the crowd and go with Viagra.
All right,
Smart play.
Interesting choice, you guys. All right. Well, question 2. Steve Jobs named his company Apple partially because of this. Is it A, because he ate 4 apples a day on average? B, it was the nickname for his infant daughter.
Cute. It's a cute nickname.
C, it would appear in the phone book before his previous employer, Atari.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or D, because he couldn't name it after his favorite fruit, the kumquat.
Oh. Hey, Chris, do me a favor. Bless you. Chris, can you
God
hold
help
your
me.
tongue? Can you hold your tongue and
Nope.
and say apple for us?
I've tried. I know what I'll sound like too.
Classic.
Lau.
Can you try? Can you
Classic.
please?
Yeah.
For us?
I went through junior high once already.
Come on now. For all of us. Some of us are kind of immature still. Come
No,
on.
that's good. You do it with an echo, Lyle.
Ready? Oh yeah, let's do that.
Oh yeah, do it.
Oh,
Deflect
Yeah,
that.
give us a little tongue.
Drop the bass.
Oh shit!
I
The
got
little finish
Wow.
there.
That
The wow
was good.
finish.
Again, Steve Jobs named his company Apple partially because he ate 4 apples a day. It was his nickname for his infant daughter. It would appear in the phone book before Atari, or because he couldn't name it after his favorite fruit, the kumquat.
God, I feel like I should know this, and I feel like I probably do, but none of that's ringing true. He was notorious for eating almost nothing but fruit, but he was more notorious for being pretty ruthless. So I'm gonna go with the Atari thing. That it was that's a good business decision. Putting your shit alphabetical because the entire world is numerically and alphabetically arranged. So it's a good plot. Well, that's my guess. It was only a guess.
John, Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Atari thing too. That seems right.
Perfect. Okay. Lyle.
See, I think a lot of people actually name nicknames, for their kids. Like my brother, he did it to my niece by calling her Pumpkinhead. I'm not sure if that helped her any in life because she's kind of like.
We should ask her.
She's not really doing well, but I gotta say, like, nicknaming your kid like Apple. You're the apple of my eye.
Sure.
Just love it.
Cute. Pumpkinhead.
It's a little evil.
Something.
I don't know. Should October maybe? I mean, I'm not a Pumpkinhead, am I? It's a little evil. But
So you're going with a nickname for the infant daughter?
Yes. Because of the apple in your eye.
Yeah.
And behold your tongue and say it. Asshole.
Wow.
endless entertainment.
I tried.
Yeah, Apple's a cute nickname.
Shelbs.
Oh, I think it was the Ruthless. It's going to come before Atari.
Okay. We'll be down for a C. Wow. Okay, let's move on to question 3. A few weeks ago at Myrtle Beach, tragically, a 63-year-old beachgoer was killed when this happened. It's made news. Was it A? She had an extreme allergic reaction to the sunscreen she was wearing, and nobody noticed.
Ooh, that's ironic.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Better be safe.
Yeah. Was it B? She was stung by so many jellyfish that she passed out and was taken away by the sea.
I love the pregnant pause there. It's taken away
How would they know?
by the sea.
Okay. Witnesses
question.
saw this happen. Witnesses saw whatever this
there
happened.
There she goes by the sea.
It's past the second buoy. Look at that. Oh.
God help her.
Well, she's the seas now.
She belongs to Poseidon or Neptune, depending on your belief system.
Depending on your belief.
Was it C? While digging a hole, she drowned in sand.
Oh,
someone just died here in Wenatchee doing that.
Up in
by one of the bridges.
Well, it was up. God, what is it? Crescent Bar. Okay, so what happened was they had to do dam repair on one of the dams. This is like 4 years ago, before COVID. And all that. So
perfect time to tell the story about a 4-year-old story. Just jump right in.
It's local, and it happened. What happened was they were working on the dam. They cut the water from the dam, and it's all ancient. There's like a lot of fucking Indian shit that's buried underneath the Columbia River up here, and so it's kind of foreboding. But the other thing is a lot of sand, and so people would go out in there. It's like quicksand, and some lady got trapped out there and fucking almost died. Luckily, somebody caught her and was able to rescue her before she did a Gilligan's Island and fell through the quicksand.
Yeah, well, there was a dude. This just happened like last month. I think he was homeless and he was digging himself a shelter, probably in the dirt. It was over by the walking bridge, kind of underneath it. He was just digging in the sand and he went underneath it and it caved in on him and killed him.
Nope.
Okay.
That might inform my answer.
Or, well, there's one left here.
Okay.
Or was it D? A big gust of wind took someone's beach umbrella to flight, and it struck and impaled her.
Oh, could you imagine? Just like a lawn dart?
Oh,
Oh, my God.
Oh, fuck.
Again, 63-year-old beachgoer in Myrtle Beach, which I've heard legendary stories of being kind of a fucking wild place, died, tragically, Was it A, she had an extreme allergic reaction to her new sunscreen? Was it B, she was stung by so many jellyfish that she passed out and was taken by the sea? Was it C, while digging a hole, she drowned in sand? Or D, a big gust of wind took someone's beach umbrella to flight and it struck and impaled her?
I have heard stories like that. I'm torn between C and D. I did mishear. I too informed my answer of C. She didn't get caved in. She dug into the watery part and drowned. That doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen, but there's something ringing true about getting hit with a projectile object on the beach. Either that happens, or I don't think I saw this story, but maybe there's something familiar about it. So I'm going to go with D.
Going with the umbrella.
I feel like it's still. I feel like it was probably C.
John
Yes,
Mark.
we shall see.
Yes, at the sea.
I should have lived by the sea.
I'm gonna-
died by the sea.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the umbrella impaling also.
Yeah. No, I know. I see.
Okay. Lyle.
I'm going with the sea.
Wait, are you going with C or
Out.
the
No.
Out
the C?
to the sea.
You're
The
going
jellyfish.
with the
What's my
jellyfish
vote, Chris?
sting.
I'm gonna go on the boat.
Mm,
Sea. To the
it's
sea.
horrifying. Can you imagine watching that?
Oh,
can't.
my.
Seeing
You know
someone
it-
being, like mauled by jellyfish
Oh
and
my.
then taken out
You know
So
they
Lyle, to
by the sea.
they say you're supposed to pee on them. Like if you
Well,
get a
once you
That's
get to
a,
shore.
that's a myth. I actually had to read this in an argument
that's
once.
right.
It's a total fucking myth.
yeah.
I thought
you
it
had
was
an
too.
incident, didn't you? Did you?
Not
you had
me.
an incident with shellfish. There was some.
Ooh.
I've had an allergic reaction to an oyster. That wasn't good.
Yeah, must-
To an oyster.
Okay, I'm gonna go with
But
crowd.
did you pee on it?
yeah. That's why I had the reaction.
That's how I know it's a
Chris.
myth.
Chris, were you out at the sea? Sorry. I'm gonna go with most definitely the lawn dart of the
Lawn dart.
This is an interesting game. We've gone.
dude.
Uh,
You know that's had
sure.
happens. That had happened.
Yeah, it has happened. I've read. I know I've heard stories about shit like that, but not necessarily impaling. Which would.
Mm.
I guess. Did you say it impaled her? Or did it hit her in the head?
Impaled.
Whew.
I didn't write that up.
I-
All right.
Well, if it's a brown herring, I fell for it. So
Well, we all did, except for Shelby so far.
Let's see.
There you
Yeah,
go.
my shelves.
We can't all pick the same thing the whole time.
Sure you can. Yeah, especially when it's wrong.
Well,
or a
There's
tiebreaker.
been just enough variation that if
I
we
got
all
tiebreakers.
chose wrong, then there's a winner.
You going
I
to impale
mean,
shelves?
Well, see, the allergic reaction really hits home for me. But
How
no,
so?
I really do think I'm allergic to everything under the sun.
Oh,
So I'm not deathly allergic to anything, thank goodness. But hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't, but I like the idea of it being the lawn dart.
The lawn dart. Here we are calling it the lawn dart again. A woman died.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
She was 67 years old.
If
No,
that
she's
happened,
right. She had a
imagine
long life. It's okay.
imagine seeing that happen to somebody, especially if you're with them, like someone you care about. If that happened,
Ah,
like you're just hanging out at the beach, shoom.
well, you know what's worse? What's
What a-
worse is if there really is a heaven, right? And then so like you come out of the clouds and you and you have an umbrella going through your chest. And you're like, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be?
Cartoon heaven. Where you
Right.
just end up there as you died. That could get messy for some folk.
Yeah, Peter Griffin.
The far side
I
heaven.
know what you're doing. What are you doing here?
Well, this is interesting. Only
Okay,
a couple
this next
variations
question.
here.
Wanna know?
This next question's a good one. I do have a photo here to go with this one. I'm going to send it to the group via text, and also I will send it over to Shelbs just for reference, and there's a before and after on this one for sure. All right, Shelbs, I'll get this over to you as well. All right. Sorry, I'm
Some of
just
these look
prepping
like
this.
clothes I would wear.
Yeah, I do kind of. This is a photo that surfaced from 1982. I've cut the heads off so you can't see who's in it, but one of these people is a widely known singer-songwriter. Recently, and this photo just recently surfaced. It was from one of the first bands they were ever in.
Got
The
it.
band was called Face to Face. which is not the band that I
A different
pinned a few months back on a record club pick. This was in the early 80s. In this band, this person didn't actually sing, but he played drums. Who was it? Was it Chris Cornell?
Oh, God.
I'm going home.
Is it George Michael?
You know, it's.
Okay.
With the-
George
Oh, no. You know,
Is it Brett Michaels?
Early 80s, you said?
Poison?
82.
1982. Okay.
Poison was around. Yeah.
Or is it Eddie Money?
Eddie Money.
All right. Well, in this case,
You son of a bitch.
I feel like Eddie Money was pretty well known in the 70s, wasn't he?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
you say no? I feel like Eddie Money was already a thing. I could be wrong. I know some of his biggest hits came in the 80s.
You've had some Eddie Money whiffs, but yeah, maybe you're on to
I've
something.
had
Ron,
almost
sir. Maybe-
exclusive Eddie Money whiffs.
Doubt Eddie Money again. Do it.
By the way, the guy on the right, doesn't he look like the bottom face of Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, a little bit.
First thing
I
I
didn't
saw.
get it. Where is this at? Messenger?
Chris Cornell would have been the teenager,
Oh, here we go.
and he was pretty much a teenager when Soundgarden started. Help me out. Chris Cornell,
Brett Michaels, George
Bret
Michael, Eddie Money.
Michaels, and George Michael.
Got
I'm gonna. Boy, this is. Oh, if you get me on an Eddie Money,
You saw the
I
Google
feel-
News alert I set up, didn't
I
you?
feel confident that Eddie Money was already a star in like the late 70s. Oh, I could be so wrong. Oh, I don't want to hold the train up too long here, but I can't just always go for the Eddie Money because that will ruin the gag. And I don't think that I'm going to go with Bret Michaels. Final fucking answer.
Okay, going with Brett Michaels.
82, he would still be, what, 4?
They're only like 10 years old.
He'd be 3 or 4 years away from Poison at that point.
Yeah,
And you can
totally,
change style that quickly. We saw what happened in the 90s.
I'll tell you what, Eddie
Metal
Money's
kids turned into
rolling.
Cowboys.
He's rolling in his
God,
grave.
He's like, look at my shoes, Ron. I've got 2 beauties to dance tonight. I do want those trousers, those brown slacks on the right.
Oh,
They're
those
like
are,
what I wear, except they're a little more
Well,
bell-bottomed.
We'll dig him up.
are those
Okay.
corduroy belt?
I'm going Bret Michaels, but I feel like let's see where everyone else goes.
Okay, so
this
which
might
one are we
tell us
looking at?
something.
That's supposed to be.
We
part of
don't
this.
know. It's just one of them.
You got to guess.
Oh, okay. All right. It's John Mark's turn.
I'm going with Chris Cornell.
What?
Awesome.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll put you down for Chris
there's
Cornell.
one that's skinny and tall in the middle,
no.
isn't there? But he'd be so young. He was a baby in Soundgarden.
He was skinny as hell too, dude. I mean, he was cut.
This guy doesn't look too plump.
No, he was
I mean,
cut.
those 501 tight fits are hanging off his skeletal frame.
What you gonna go with, Lyle?
God, I'm going with the fucking brown herring because I got
Money,
this fucking like every money. Yeah.
What's the brown herring here?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's the ongoing joke, but I always miss it, so I'm gonna go with them this time. Eddie Money.
Oh,
Eddie
he's
Money,
not
I'll
the
put you
brown
down.
herring. He's the
herring?
He's the green herring, right?
Is the
Wait, what do we call him? Is it green for money? I think he's just the money herring.
I don't know.
green money?
I think we called him something.
Okay, Lyle. All right. Let's see if being a true believer pays off, Lyle.
I'm trying.
Okay. Jobs.
My first
Everyone-
thought was Chris Cornell, but then Ron was so adamant against picking Eddie Money that I'm like, okay, I want that one.
Interesting tactic, Shelves.
I want to go where my heart says to not go.
I'm gonna have to.
That is
Square
often a
things
good
in
bet.
nature. You remember?
This
Square
is
things
interesting. This one question could decide the game the way that we've answered.
And it did.
Oh,
wow.
Absolutely did.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I've got
question
2 guesses. Who knows who lost? But let's find out.
Okay, the FDA recently made some changes, and soon millions of Americans will be eligible to get hearing aids without having to get a doctor's appointment or an exam.
Okay.
So we
Good
can't.
How is
shit
that
across the
possible?
board.
How is that possible? I don't know.
Aren't the hearing aids like specific to like well, I guess they could be turned up or down, huh?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
an
just thought they
interesting
were very
point.
Probably
calibrated
probably
to
an app you can
hearing.
tune it in with it these days. I don't
But the
know.
problem
Good
is
point.
that you could do more damage with them
Yeah.
than good
I'm
sometimes.
sure they.
like glasses.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
like glasses, you know. You got a certain prescription, you know.
I had not
Yeah.
made
That's what I
that
was
thought.
thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what the sad
no-
part about that story is? There's no Cobra cock.
Yeah.
Yet.
Uh,
Yet.
Yeah, give it.
Yeah, give
makes
it time. Come on. Surprised that didn't
okay.
get legalized during the pandemic. It's like, have
Yeah.
mercy on us.
Nobody got that correct. First win.
Sitting at home, got nothing to do, grab yourself a bottle of Cobra cock.
Steve Jobs named his company Apple partially because it would appear in the phone book before his previous employer, Atari.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, Cutthroat was right. Ron, John, Mark, and Shelps got that correct. I'm a little disappointed that they went with the kumquat.
Sorry.
Kumquat, indeed. That was a good toss.
Oh my. Ron, John, Mark, and Shelps got that correct for a 0.8 pop. Question 3. A few weeks ago at Myrtle Beach, tragically, a 63-year-old beachgoer was hanging out on the beach with her husband when a gust of wind took up a goddamn umbrella and sent it right into her, instantly killing her.
Where did it hit her?
It hit her in the arm, pierced through her arm, and then went into her sternum.
Oh my god.
Oh.
God.
Crazy.
Instantly killed her.
That's horrible.
Yeah, she was instantly killed by it.
Oh,
Or
shit.
very, very rapidly. So, yeah. Nuts. You all got that correct. Congratulations, you fuckers. You dark
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Very interesting.
Okay.
You know, we tried.
Question.
Horrifying.
So let's see. That makes the score Ron, John Mark, and Shelbs have 1 point apiece.
2 points.
Wait.
Excuse me,
Don't I have
2 points
two?
apiece. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You all have 2 points. Apologies.
And what
Everyone calm down.
Chris, I've waited so long. I've got 2 points, you cheapin' bitch. Okay.
You stingy whore. Okay, here we go again. The photos taken in 1982 of this widely known singer/songwriter recently surfaced in one of the first bands they were ever in, called Face to Face. Ironically, I'm gonna send it over to Shelbs, and I'm gonna send it over to you guys, and you can tell me how this panned out.
We'll know right away, huh?
It's actually-
no.
it's-
It was
See it?
Chris Cornell.
Look at that baby motherfucker. It's almost unrecognizable. John Mark swooping in with the right answer there, reclaiming his title as king. Well done, sir.
Attaboy.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Look
Good
at
job.
that band.
Great.
You know, the other dudes, God bless them, but Chris does have a look that it's like, I can't help but feel I'm bound for better things.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
he played
just-
drums in that band. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting. You had to been like a year or two away from Soundgarden. Soundgarden was rocking and rolling mid 80s.
Uh-huh.
We didn't know about them, you know.
Ultra
outside of-
Omega. Okay, remember that one? That was
Yeah.
a good one.
That's like
That's
85, 86, maybe
Uh.
87. Yeah, it was a few years, but not. I mean, we're talking just a couple of years from this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that actually is pretty crazy.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Good job, John Mark. Did you know that, or would you just? What made you guess?
I feel like I remember reading
Saw it.
something about that in the not too distant past.
I don't think I ever saw this.
about I don't know, or hearing a podcast about records or something. You know what I mean? Something just like struck me. Like I think I heard that, but yeah.
Well, I think the bottom of these 3 feet might be the image for this week's episode. That's just intriguing.
Wow, well, yeah,
They're
well
almost
done, guys.
moccasin shoes or moccasin. Moccasin.
Moccasin. I'm gonna say
I'm moccasin. I think that's what I was doing. Kind of
You
shoes
know,
you wearing, son? I'm saying I'm moccasins.
I'm going to be very disappointed if you don't make a big old Cobra cock, like a bottle.
Oh, you're
And then,
right.
like,
You know
Cobra
what?
cock around a bottle.
Yep, you're right.
I
That's
hope it
got to
looks
be
like
it.
Cobra Kai's logo, though.
There you go.
I'll find
Strike
another
first.
one. I'll find a more
Wait,
generic.
strike first. Strike hard. No, I don't know what the third one is.
No 4-hour boners.
No, you go till you puke.
Call 911. Yeah, you go to you puke. One head or another. Well, good Lord. Well, thanks for joining us, Shelby. That was
Shelby.
an interesting game. Very interesting round.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right up
Thank
to
you,
the
Shelbs,
end.
for coming on.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Well,
Bye.
goodbye. Should we
night.
get on out of here?
Is it time?
I feel so
Is it
shocked.
that time?
We kind of cruised through it tonight,
Oh.
but we can do that every
A lot
now
of
and
stories.
again. Huh?
Yeah. I had a lot of good stories too. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was packed. We just didn't really do any shoot the shit at the beginning. Oh, I'll end on this note. I experienced something today that I haven't experienced yet. It's mildly terrifying. I had a blood vessel in my eye burst.
Ooh.
So you have like the Terminator eye going.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Send a
like,
photo.
It's
I want
not
to see it.
that painful, but it's okay.
Ron,
I'll send it.
Ron, what approximately what time did this happen, or do you know?
It would have been, I think, around 2
Oh shit.
p.m.
Well, let me tell you something weird. Like this morning, I was in the shower, getting ready for work, and for whatever random reason, I was thinking about a friend of mine that happened to a couple times, and I was actually thinking about that specific thing,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a blood vessel bursting in your eye, and I was remembering how my friend's eye looked. And I was like, like what happened? Like why did that happen? You know what I mean? Just thinking about like why did that happen, kind of thing. And I was thinking about that this morning, so that's really fucking random that
That is really
happened to you today.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing it's actually on the side of your eye, so you like when your eye is kind of just normal.
Yeah.
It's tucked away and it's getting healing.
We don't even see it from one angle, and I wouldn't have known. We don't have like a big smoke-ageddon happening here in town like we sometimes get, but the smoke has been wafting in the valley, that classic Wenatchee summer smoke. And so my eyes have been irritated. And yeah, I was up in Kashmir doing some freelance editing. I was just sitting at the editing bay and it's like, oh my God, my eyes are itchy, so fucking itchy. So I lifted up my glasses and just like rubbed it with the back of my hand. But I knew right away, it's like, oh, that was too intense of a rub. It was like, you don't need to, like, easy. But I didn't think anything. I was just like, oh, going in hot. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when I just looked in the mirror. I was like, what the fuck? And then there's like, you can't see it in that photo, but there's like this little goopy sort of bubble on the outside of the eyeball. That was what was creeping me out. That was what I could feel. It's mellowed out. It's already starting to like flatten out a little bit. But for the first few hours, it was, a significant little bump. And it just felt like, like when you get an eyelash or a piece of dirt stuck in your eye and you can't get it out. That's as bad as it got. It's pretty mild pain-wise. And I knew that it wasn't likely anything serious. I'd seen other people get them. And they're like, yeah, sometimes it can be an underlying issue, and sometimes they just happen. Some people get them if they shit too hard. For straining, high blood pressure can contribute. And
I'm on blood thinner, so that always scares the shit out of me because, that's what happens.
Oh my God, if you've never experienced it and you just look in the mirror, that's the thing. It's like there was no clue. It was just all of a sudden, and that photo that I sent you, that was like 3 or 4 hours. It's supposed to take days or weeks for it to like fully disappear, but it's going down quite a bit because it was taking up the half of my eye. It was still bleeding. Like I think it was actually bleeding out my eye, and that's what was filling up that little pocket on how's the nachos treating you kids that are listening at lunch break? But yeah, it seems to be
delicious,
mellowing out, and I went and got some eye drops just to lubricate it because it's just irritated once I was aware of it. But
you know what else?
Scary if you've never experienced it. Whew, it's creepy. Go ahead.
You know what else gives really good lubricant? It's Cobra Cock.
Kumquat. Cobra Cock. Yeah, Cobra Cock is hopefully going to live on for a while.
What if it's like, come not with kumquat?
It makes
you going all night long.
Cobra Cock. I want a Cobra Cock cat.
Cobra Cock. If we ever get around to more How Bizarre merch, we might have to do a full on Cobra Cock
Whole thing.
mock
Cobra
up.
Cock.
I haven't released any of
Cobra
these yet.
Cockeye.
I got a taste of Cobra Cockeye.
Cobra Cockeye.
Oh, you don't want Cobra Cockeye.
God.
I haven't released any of these yet, but I've been working on a side project of art where I am taking labels off of old things like cologne, soap boxes, chemical sprays, and I'm making my own labels and just making these fake products. Mostly just like snarky chemical jokes, but some of them are just, like self-esteem jokes. The kind of, for some reason, I kind of went down this rabbit hole and was like, I'm going to do a whole fucking series of these made up products. And they're just going to be like assemblies, like they'll be in your medicine cabinet all stacked together. That will be the assembly on a little shelf. And I'll build like a fake medicine cabinet. That'll be the whole sculpture. It's a fun project to work on. It'll take me a while, but I might have to add a box of Cobra Cock up in that medicine cabinet
Nice.
with all the details that we
Make some of that shit into some whatever the fucking format is that we need, and throw some of that shit up in our store for T-shirt purchases.
That'd be cool. Shit, I'd get a hat or something like that. A Cobra Cock.
Cobra Cock I think would be
like a circle with like a bottle and then like a cobra going around it.
No, it's gonna be a bottle. It's gonna have the fucking Cobra Cock label, and the pill bottle cap is going to be bursting off with this giant cock shooting out of the pill bottle.
Well, you got to make it like a
Should
snake.
the pills be cock shaped, or is that two on the nose?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You got to make
Flintstones vitamins, but cocks.
Public rated, Make
do up paint
That's
some
true, you don't want
thumbnails,
to
and we'll tell you which one is the one that hits.
Yeah.
Just some storyboards, okay?
Do an uncensored version. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say with the whole eye thing, the thing I worry about the most being on blood thinners, but the other part about it is like my body doesn't really get rid of calcium that well. I have to eat binders like with my food, like 4 for every meal. So like lunch, breakfast, dinner, I eat like 4 of these monster horse pills, and they're supposed to leach all the calcium and phosphorus and stuff out of my body, and you excrete it out. But sometimes that stuff, and I guess it happened with my dad. He got so calcified, I guess, calcium in his blood. He had his eyes, calcium building up in his eyeballs.
Ew.
And he had to have like a chunk surgically removed out of his eye.
Yikes.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about it because I wasn't really told about it. But like,
your family's interesting.
Great to know.
the first night you were in the hospital from COVID, when I finally found your mom and dad's phone number, I called them and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like Lyle just stopped communicating. I know he's got COVID, and I don't know if anyone's checking on him. Do you know what's going on?" I just knew something was wrong. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh yeah, he went into the ER last night. He was having trouble breathing, I guess." And I was like, "Is he still there?" And she was like, "I don't know." And she's like, cool. I should call over. And I'm like,
I was there
you
for a
don't
month.
know?
I was there for a month and they never even came in.
That blew my mind. It's like, I know you guys are
families.
You're a type of close, but not like, families are different. There's not like
never really
one size fits all, but like my mom would be hounding to a fault. I mean, she'd be the overly the other way around. Like
your mom would be like Spider-Man going up all of the
suction cups.
My room. I'm here.
Which room? Where's my boy?
I brought you a blizzard.
Oh God, I want a blizzard. I found ice cream that I can eat. I'm sure I talked about it before. It's cashew ice cream. There's a company called, I think it's So Delicious. Holy snikes. It had been a year or two since I'd had real ice cream. So there is a little bit of distance, and things taste better when it wasn't just yesterday when you had the real thing. So a lot of these foods you can tolerate just based on that. But this ice cream would be delicious for anybody who wants ice cream. It's fucking incredible. But if I got my own cookie and chocolate chip or whatever type stuff that I could eat, I could make my own blizzards out of them shit.
Oh, hell yeah. You go to Dairy Queen and just get the cup. I just like that.
No, that would be sad. Didn't our Dairy Queen close again? Like we lost the East Wenatchee one. Now the Wenatchee one's going through issues. I don't think we have a Dairy Queen right now.
That sucks.
Very
Yeah,
strange.
It's a sad fucking
well-
day when there's no Dairy Queen.
Sad times.
I was going to say the reason why I didn't want my parents there when I was in the hospital, I was there for a month. So it was
Yeah.
like, my dad is susceptible, because of dialysis too.
Yeah, he shouldn't have gone for sure.
And my mom, I'm not sure where they've been. I don't want to get sicker, and I didn't want to get them sick. So I was like,
Well, didn't they
Just
have
stay-
COVID? I think your
stay
mom actually had COVID right
I don't-
before you went in. So did she, maybe she?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
Well, I ended up talking to your mom for about a half hour
We
one of
don't
those
know.
days because I was bugging her. I couldn't get any information. The nurses tried to get me information. Like it wasn't like they were being secrety about it. They were just like, I'm having a hard time figuring out. Like they would tell me little things, like good things, like what shit that I needed to know. All I really needed to know, A, I wanted to know if you were alive, and B, were you intubated? Those were the two questions that I kept wanting answers for. All right, he's in bad shape, but he's fighting it.
It was the third week they were going to do it.
Yeah,
And it was they
were just
asked-
about to do it.
I gotta go put this kid to bed,
Crazy.
guys.
That
All right,
was
guys.
a scary time. Okay, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Shelby, for joining us. And
Man.
give us a little comment on Facebook. Let us know what you think Lyle should name his boat. I want to clarify that he is not beholden to any of these names, but I'm dying to hear what you guys come up with.
I mean, he's
now.
pretty beholden to one.
right now I almost want to call it the salty turd because it's a dirty mess. I got to clean it. It's just horrible.
Well,
Salty
Out
turd.
6
The
months.
salty turd. I would ride aboard the salty turd. I would trust a boat, and I would trust a captain.
I
who
would go
named his
get
vessel.
I would go get a drink there. The Salty Turd.
Oh, that's a great bar name. Yeah. The salty
All
turd.
right, good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Next week,
Bye.
9/11. Night, y'all.
Yeah, Lyle, can I
Yeah.
get a Cobra Cock one time
Yeah,
and
good
an
call.
echo?
Good.
You want an echo?
Yeah.
Something good. Give me
Try
something
to,
saucy.
try to hit the cock, especially on the deck.
Cobra. Cock.
There it is. There's your 11:35 on the TBS network.
You got to put a little neon flash
2004.
behind it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
All
Stop
right, good
being
night,
a
you guys.
pussy and start getting pussy.
Yeah,
Cobra cock.
Strike first, strike hard, Cobra Cock.
All right, that's good shit.
Your limb don't be again. Get some Cobra Cock. Whoa.
All right, good night, guys.
Bye.
Ooh, it's weird
Weird
trivia.
trivia.
Get somebody disoriented.